Welcome everybody! I'm so glad to see you at today's lesson. It's our third episode in Stress Management, Resilience and Self-Love series. And we are going to talk today about inner critic and how it affects your mental health and how to convert inner critic to your best fan. Let's look at the agenda today. We are going to talk about what inner critic is and what there is to do with shame. We will talk about how stress and shame are connected and how shame contributes to stress. I'll share with you some facts and ideas about psychology behind shame. And also I'll share with you some practical steps how to practice self-acceptance and overcome self-shame. At the end, I will share with you my special offer as usual and some key takeaways. Let's go! My name is Tatiana Bell and I am professional certified coach. My specialty is stress management and adaptability. I help overwhelmed entrepreneurs in achieving more and living a healthier, more content life by identifying their priorities, pinpointing stressors, and creating work-play balance. What about you? Where are you from? Please enter in the comment your name, city you are at, and what's good in your life today. I would like to hear that. In case you missed our previous episodes, I strongly encourage you to go back and watch them because we already discussed what stress is and 5 most important main stressors in humans' life and how pinpoint them and how work with them. We also talked in the second webinar about resilience and self-care and some practical ways how to take care of yourself. And in the third webinar, we talked more about self-love and how to actually fall in love with yourself. I draw the timeline how people fall in love with others, and I made a parallel how to do it with yourself. There are a lot of practical tools, there are a lot of recommendations, and links to all of those 3 episodes will be in the description box. Go watch them, you won't regret. Now, you may ask me, what's inner critic? How do I know I have one? Let's look. It's something critical. Critic, right? It's judgmental. It's self-sabotaging. And if you notice that negative self-talk, oh my goodness, I'm an idiot. How could I do that? How could I forget that? And of course, if you have doubts, you definitely have a self-critic. If you are not sure that you are capable of doing something, if you're not sure that you deserve something good, you definitely have that inner critic. But hey, wait, there is more to it. I want to offer you a kind of joking, but still a test. Imagine yourself in a social gathering at the friend's house. There are many small groups, very quite nice ambience, food is good, host is great, but you don't seem to make any connections with people. You try to start a conversation here and there, nothing seemed working. And you feel awkward, you feel uncomfortable. Trying to calm yourself, you go to the table, grab some snacks, and you accidentally drop the bowl of pretzels on the floor. And everybody is looking at you. You try to clean up all the mess and you accidentally drop the bottle of red wine on a pristine white carpet. Oh, collective sigh through the whole room. And now everybody for sure looking at you and host is staying there in terror. Imagine? Now, what do you feel? Muscle tension? Flushed face of blushing? Avoidance? You want to hide? Increased heart rate? Shallow breathing or breath holding? Digestive discomfort? Sweating? racing thoughts. Oh my goodness, what did I do? Feeling faint or lightheaded, difficulty making eye contact. Any of that sounds familiar? You know what is happening to you right now? You are experiencing typical trauma response. You may probably know that already there are three different type of trauma response: flight, fight, or freeze. And now they added the fourth one, more on the psychological side, fun. So if you look through all of those responses, you definitely can see there is a body involved, there is a thoughts involved, emotions involved, and behavioral pattern involved. You are experiencing trauma response. I want to introduce you to Brené Brown. She's an author, public speaker, researcher, and her main topic is vulnerability, shame, and resilience. And through her research, we can know that response to any shame-inducing stimuli are increased heart rate, sweating, muscle tension, skin conductance, blood pressure up or down, elevated cortisol level, activation of sympathetic nervous system. And it's completely exactly the same as a trauma response when the actual trauma is happening. You are in Iraq and there are bombs, or you are at war, or you are at the car and you just avoided a car crash. Same body and emotional response. So see what that inner critic and innocent looking self-doubts and self-criticizing thoughts can actually do to you. Why I'm saying that? What are you doing to yourself? Because it may seem like something is happening to you, especially if we are talking about accident, especially if we are talking about some problems with performance at work or some problems with your loved ones, and you experience that shame. I'm going to show you that 99.9% all that shame, inner critic, self-doubts, and so on, they are coming from within. It's internalized, meaning it's originated from within ourselves. And it's produced by our own self-critical thoughts. And it's very closely linked to our sense of identity, who we are, and our sense of self-esteem, what we're worth. You want to learn more? What's all of that about? And most important, how to deal with that? Let's go. First of all, how do we know that we experience that? Easiest way to observe it and easiest way to identify it through our body. Our body is our best friend in that regard. And many others more, but for shame and inner critic, it's number one, what to be aware of. The sinking sensation in your stomach, you all know that, you all experience that at least once in your life. The tension in your shoulders, I do that. You probably do that too. Your cheeks flush, oh, getting red. Your breath quickens. Again, obvious. The tightness in your chest and not in your stomach. Please tell me, how often do you experience any of that? And you just go by with your life and never pay attention. You should, because this is shame, but also it's traumatic. It damages your mental health and physical health. Let's see how it's impacting us. First of all, psychological impact. Once you let that inner critic to shame you, your self-esteem goes down, self-criticism goes up, feeling of your worth, self-worth, where it goes down as well. How it manifests through your body? Physical problems, increasing heart rate. It's getting us a lot of problems with the blood pressure. Once or twice happening, it's okay, but on a constant base, it will lead to either hypertension, it will lead to some serious cardiovascular problems. Muscle tension. It's not only giving you uncomfort right now. Muscle tension. It's not only giving you some uncomfortable feelings at the moment. It will eventually lead to many, many problems with your body, with your health. And of course, cortisol level. That one is a real bitch. That big C that can cause by high cortisol level. I know from my personal experience, and I really warn you, be aware of this one. Interpersonal relationship. Once you let that shame, that inner critic be behind the wheel, first you start avoid people, make that social withdrawal, isolate yourself, and you become reluctant to seek support, which further just exuberate the feeling of loneliness and increasing your stress or distress, as we talked about that in our first session, stress versus distress. Coping mechanism. Yes, at first glance, on a short term, everything seems working for you when you create those coping mechanisms. Like, avoiding something, denying something, or engage in self-destructing behavior, drugs, alcohol, sex, any other addictions. But in the long run, all of that is going to hurt you even more. Did I convince you already that you need to do something about that inner critic and that shame and start working towards self-acceptance? How to build self-acceptance? Let's get to real things. Let me introduce you Albert Ellis, founder of Rational Emotional Behavioral Therapy, REBT. His model was about unconditional self-acceptance, unconditional other acceptance, and unconditional life acceptance. In general, Ellis pronounced that there is no such things that subjective value of anyone, because we don't know anything about ourselves unless there is a reflection from society, reflection from others, or reflection from life. Meanwhile, it's impossible to evaluate ourselves, but at the same time, it's impossible to be always perfect and fit within all the standards. So Ellis created his own system and approach how to build that self-acceptance, other acceptance, and life acceptance. Let's see what he is offering. First and foremost, change the narrative. How often do you say, "Oh my goodness, I'm such an idiot"? First and foremost, stop saying that. Change the narrative. Instead of saying, "I'm stupid," say, "I did something stupid." Instead of saying, "I'm the problem," say, "I have a problem." And it may seem very insignificant and small, but in the long run, it's very beneficial, and it's proven research that it's working. So I encourage you to try this on right away. Number 2, treat yourself like someone you deeply love. I put a picture of a baby here because this is a great example. If your baby brought from school some problem and complained about someone making fun of their clothes, what would you say? "Yeah, sure, I told you not to wear those stupid jeans. Go buy something pretty." No, you won't do that, won't you? You would say something like, "Oh, baby, I know, it's hard, and I've been there too. Let's look at those jeans. They're pretty, they're perfect, you're perfect. It's just their opinion, and there is nothing you can do." Right? Treat yourself the way you treat someone you love. Supportive, loving, empathic, understanding. Don't let that inner critic treat you like shit. Next thing will require some work, but hey, you already know how shame, how inner critic affects your life and how it's affect your health, so definitely worth to give it a try. First of all, try to challenge negative thoughts. Anytime something comes up, I don't deserve it, I won't be able to do that. First, identify those negative thoughts, maybe write them down, and then find 3 arguments that contradict that statement. For example, I did it already last year, and I was able to do that 2 years ago. And hey, remember, I graduated with honor. And hey, remember, I got that awesome review last month. So, find 3 facts that contradict your belief. Then formulate new statement. Reframe that statement that will be encouraging you, that will be lifting up, not degrading. Something like, I'm a complete idiot. I did something not so smart. I made a mistake. I didn't think about that properly. I didn't have time. Does it sound better? Embrace imperfection. Don't pressure yourself to think positively about everything and find the silver lining in everything. No, it doesn't work like that. There is a term for that, toxic positivity. So don't force yourself to do that. Making mistakes, it's a part of being human. It's okay. And tell yourself that. Just be very compassionate and loving and kind to yourself. It's okay. Congratulations, you just passed a humanity test. And just learn from your mistakes. Notice what you've done not in a proper way and see what you can do differently next time. Embrace negative emotions. It's very important. It's coming from years and years of therapy researchers, even centuries of therapy researchers. What persists exists. If you try to avoid your negative emotions, to suppress your negative emotions, they are always going to be there. And they may show up in time when you don't expect them, when the least you want them to show up. So, first of all, acknowledge and accept. You experience some negative emotions. You are angry, you are mad, you are unhappy, you're jealous, you're something else. Accept. And remember, sometimes people experience that rejection. I don't want to accept it. Remember, accepting doesn't mean approving, doesn't mean you agree with that. You just accept the fact that you are experiencing those negative emotions. Next step, explore the root cause. What triggers these feelings? How they relate to your thoughts, beliefs, or past experience. This is a very important part. And last but not least, express yourself. You can use journaling, you can talk to a trusted friend or therapist or coach, or you can engage in creative outlets or even sports. Here I would like to share with you some useful journaling prompts, because people often ask me, well, journaling, I don't know, I was trying to journal, I don't know, I don't understand, what do I do, what's the benefit of that? I'm going to give you some structure. So here's a few journaling prompts for you. Write down first what happened, the event. Someone said something. Rate your anxiety from 0 to 10. 0 being none, 10 the most highest. Now write down what you feel, emotions. I'm angry, I'm frustrated, I'm jealous, I'm this and I'm that. Now write down how it manifests in your body. Chest tightened, flushing cheeks, wet palms, whatever. Any experience your body having. And now write down what are your thoughts. Someone said something and they think that I'm not capable of doing that. They think that I'm a bad employee. I think they are going to fire me. Make sense? Sounds familiar? I'm inviting you to try those journaling prompts yourself and see what you're getting out of it. Another approach to manage your shame and self-criticism is leash your perfectionism. Try to do something incorrectly, intentionally, in a safe environment. If you like everything to be in order, try to leave at least something on your table, not in a perfect order. Most important part here, don't just do it and leave. Explore, observe how it resonates in your body, what emotions are coming up, what are your thoughts about that, and literally sit with that and be uncomfortable. And let your brain accept the idea that actually nothing bad happened when you did that. Same goes to the second one, intentionally make minor mistakes. Write an email to someone not critically important. Don't put comma at the end. Don't proofread it 3 times. Put some mistakes there and let it be. And again, observe yourself, observe your body, observe your thoughts, observe your reactions, and let your brain to understand it's okay, nothing bad is going to happen. You literally retrain your neurons. You are reburning your neuron connections with that. Set up your good enough standards. That means that you are know what amount of work will require to get okay level of quality of work. For example, if you are making a webinar like I'm doing now and you don't know where you're going to start actual webinar because presentation requires so much polishing, requires so much editing. Make it good enough for you. Set up those standards and go from that. So to your question. Okay, Tatiana, everything seems pretty understandable, pretty doable. Thank you very much. Why do I need you as a coach to help me with all of that? I'm going to tell you right here, right now. Look at those pretty pictures. See that gardener with all his fancy tools, with his serious look. Imagine yourself trying to polish and do your garden in the spring. How would you feel doing that? Yeah, you may have some tools and equipments and knowledge, but it will take you much more time and you will make a lot of mistakes, and God forbid you can hurt yourself because you don't know all the tips and tricks and you're not certified after all. And that guy will do everything for you, and with him you get to the results much faster, with more comfort and more efficiently. And look how great he looks. Very, very pleasant for the eyes, right? Now I'm going to make you a special offer as usual. Until February 29th, I'm offering you 20% of discount on my signature session called 360-degree clarity session. It's in-depth exploration of what is going on with you, what's stopping you from the progress, what's causing you anxiety and stress. We will talk for 90 minutes and you will be heard and understood like never before. And you will leave the session with a set of tools, ideas, what to do next. Link for that session you will find in the description, and until the end of February you can get that session with 20% off. Only for you. Let's summarize. Shame profoundly impacts our well-being, mentally, emotionally, and what is the most dangerous part, physically, our health, our precious capital. Shame is an internal experience rooted in self-judgment rather than external criticism. We do it for ourselves. We do it to ourselves by ourselves. Shame manifests in body, including its physical cues and emotional manifestations. There is an interconnectedness of shame and stress and detrimental effect of self-shame on both short-term emotional well-being and long-term physiological health. The psychology behind shame includes the underlying mechanism and triggers that perpetuate feelings of inadequacy and unworthiness. It's essential to adopt practical strategies for cultivating self-compassion and self-acceptance. And I hope you learn some of them through that session with me. I want you to thank you so much for being here today with me, for watching that episode, for your likes, for your comments, for sharing that. It's very challenging for me, I have to admit. I have my own inner critic who is staying there and telling me, Tatiana, not perfect at all. But I know without practice, there is no progress. Forget about perfection. This is why I keep doing that, and I'm really grateful for your support and for you being there for me. You can find me on any social media about Adapt Well Coaching. You can find any information about my services on adaptwellcoaching.com, my website. And I strongly encourage you to subscribe, because next week we are going to talk about some practical ideas how to help yourself to work through what you learn. Because throughout last few weeks, I was sharing with you all those techniques and ideas. And I guess now it's time for me to share with you last piece. Professional strategies and tools how to self-coach yourself. How to create that plan, doable, timely, achievable, and actually stick to that plan. How to find motivation and finally make the life you want, the life you love. So come to the next session as well, share my videos, subscribe to my channel, and until next time, thank you so much. Bye-bye.